Jump!
Welcome back to All Chiefed Up, where we do Kansas City Chiefs news, analysis, and more. Your Kansas City Chiefs just smoked the 49ers in San Francisco 44-23, and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, so early thoughts on the game, man. I thought we looked really good. I thought the offense finally, for once, started to look efficient. Mahomes played a good game today. He come right out of the gate, threw that pick, and I was like, oh, here we go. Mahomes is going to start pressing. And sure enough, he didn't. Actually, he started taking what they gave him and actually had a great day. We got our wide receivers more involved today. We've been begging for that. Thank you. They announced Pacheco got the start, and he looked pretty good in his start today. The one fault I can see is time and time again, Dave Tobe will not take Sky Moore out of the punt game. Quit. Other than that, not too bad.
Pure stubbornness and arrogance on Dave Tobe's part. I mean, the kid never did punt returns in his entire football career, but he stuck them back there and he's sticking with it, even though he's having trouble. And I just think it's silly. It's probably hurting his confidence a little bit, and we don't need that going forward. We need Sky Moore out there because he is lethal. So, yeah, like you said, great game by the Chiefs. Offense looked fantastic today. Defense played really well. I mean, other than Josh Williams struggling just a little bit, there wasn't a whole lot going on back there. They did get a lot of cheap 10, 15-yard passes over to the right side, middle of the field, over and over and over again. But I think it was just a weird scheme that we were playing. But Spags called another good game, got a lot of pressure. Can't ask for much more out of it.
Yeah, it looked pretty good. So let's run down our 5 keys, see how much we hit on here. I'm suspecting it's probably going to be a lot considering it was a blowout, which, again, just listen to the boys at All Chiefed Up. We're going to tell you how to win every week, Andy. Here we go. Number 1, we said you had to keep it simple. We had to run the ball consistently. We did that pretty well today. Pacheco, he had 8 carries for 43 yards. Clyde had 6 carries for 32 and a touchdown. Mecole actually had a couple carries for 28 yards, 2 scores. We ended up running the ball pretty good, I would say, on the day. We said you had to do the short passes in the screen game, take what the defense give you. Mahomes did that for the most part. We said you had to have good tacklers. Don't let them beat us with the run game. And we held them to 101 yards rushing on the day. Pretty good, man.
Yeah, it's not bad considering Wilson and McCaffrey both are great, and they're a really good running team. So not too bad. Did see a couple things, they could clean up, but overall, pretty good day by the defense. Patrick Mahomes got out and got his bad throw out early. He bounced back great, and he settled in really good after that. Like you said, he was taking what the defense was giving him, and guess what? Because he was patient, it opened up some big throws. We got to finally see Marquez Valdez-Scantling down the field get hit on a couple of different shots, and Juju making yards after the catch like we know he can do. He's moving the chains all day. That's what we preached about all offseason. We need to get Juju. He's a chain mover, and that's what he did today, man. It was fantastic. This team's ceiling is so high. Like, I think we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg to what this team can be, and it's really exciting because they're super young.
Right. I love to see our wide receivers start getting involved more. Maybe they're catching on to the playbook. Maybe Andy's opening it up a little more. Who knows what it is, but I like it. Mahomes, he did struggle right off the bat, as we said, but he ended up going 25 for 34, 423 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did have 1 sack on the day. He had 1 interception on the day, but his QBR was 132.4, which was really high. Really good game by Mahomes. Again, back to the offensive line. I thought they looked really good today. Wiley had a few struggles here and there. Trey Smith had a couple bad plays, but I thought Orlando Brown Jr. done really well today, as much as everybody hangs on to him.
If they're dogging on Orlando Brown after today, they're just looking for stuff. You know what I mean? Because he had a solid game.
Yeah, and again, Wiley's going up against Bosa, man. This isn't a chump he's playing. Bosa had 1 sack on the day.
Right.
I thought they did pretty good for what it was. Wiley even had that bogus hands to the face. I mean, he touched his face a little bit, but it was right off. It wasn't, it's the intent of it, but whatever. They had to call it. Let's run on to number 2. Number 2, we said we had to win the turnover battle. Our defense had to start creating turnovers. Mahomes threw that early pick, so we were down 1, but the defense ended up getting 2 interceptions and a strip fumble. So we ended up finishing +2 on the day with a turnover battle. That's 2 check marks there for the 2 for 2 so far on our 5 keys.
Absolutely. They had to create some turnovers. It's about that time. Chris Jones doing what Chris Jones does. Got another sack fumble. Josh Williams got an interception, and I think that was key because he needed some confidence. He's had a lot of learning situations the last 2 weeks. He kind of got thrown into the fire last week against Buffalo, and here he was again against a really good San Francisco 49ers team, and he took his lumps like a champ, but he stuck in there, got an interception. Let's hope that boosts him up a little bit, and he's learning as he goes. So I'm excited to see where that can go. But yeah, overall, a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Frank Clark looked great today. It was good to see him back. The Shark made a return. So maybe we can just keep building off this.
Yeah, so playing off Frank Clark, you set it up perfectly. Our defensive line's been getting a lot of crap over the past week. Trade for Brian Burns, trade for Cam Jordan, trade for this, trade for that. I thought our defensive line done pretty good today. We got a lot of pretty good pressure there in the second half when it counted. George Karlaftis was getting after the quarterback. He actually made that strip safety, that Frank Clark got. George Karlaftis was actually coming up because Jimmy G to pump fake that. Karlaftis was in the face of Jimmy G when he threw the pick to Josh Williams in the end zone. So we got a lot of that. We got a few batted balls from Carlos Dunlap. He got after him a few times. We got home on a few blitzes with Willie Gay and Snead. They got a half sack apiece. I thought Colin Saunders put some pressure on up the middle. And then, of course, you had Chris Jones doing what Chris Jones does. I thought our defensive line looked pretty good today. Their offensive line is kind of beat up. But again, I want to go back to Trent Williams there. When it counted, Frank Clark, who's not by any Chiefs fan standards to be elite this year or last year, and he just made Trent Williams look stupid there when it counted. And so again, that goes back to kind of OBJ a little bit. You got to give this guy some slack because look, Frank Clark is nowhere near Khalil Mack. He's nowhere near Bosa. He's nowhere near Chandler Jones. He's nowhere near Von Miller. You guys got to give this guy some. Trent Williams, one of the best in the game, if not the best. You guys wanted him all the time, and then he's going to give up a safety there when it counts. So it's like
2 sacks in a row.
Yeah, we got to chill with that. These guys are going to get better. It's going to happen. Our defensive line played good. Our offensive line played good. I think for those 2 keys, we nailed it, dude. So what was key number 3, Steve?
Key number 3 was containing the playmakers, and I think we did a pretty good job of it. Deebo didn't have much of anything going on. Jimmy G, he played pitch and catch a little bit, but he's Jimmy G. What do you expect? The only one that actually had a pretty good game, in my opinion, would probably be George Kittle. But I think it was one of those things where it's like you got to pick your poison. Which one of these guys do you want to let do some damage, and how do you play damage control? And I think it's exactly what happened. Christian McCaffrey actually looked fantastic for his first day there. Well, maybe his second day there, but first game with the team. And I think we held everybody in check. This defense looked pretty good. There was a lot of bend don't break situations that worked out perfectly. Give them 3, man. With an offense like ours, we should be able to give these guys 3, and it shouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah, Kittle had 6 catches for 98 yards and a touchdown. But, Kittle's going to do that. Him and Kelsey, 2 of the best tight ends on tight end day, baby. They're looking good. But, yeah, I think we contain their playmakers pretty well. If you can contain, if one guy has a big day, but the other guys are kind of held in check, you're going to get big wins like today. And so I give us a check mark for that. We're 3 for 3 on that. Let's move on to number 4. We said you had to be good on third down. That was key. Today, Steve, we looked really good. We went 6 for 9 on third down. That's a 67% conversion rate. I thought Mahomes done well when it counted, and we didn't have a lot of third and long situations, I don't believe.
No, we definitely didn't have as many as usual. There was a couple there. But we made it happen when it counted. I think one of the third and longs actually was a huge shot out to Marquez, but don't hold me to that. But
yeah, it was 3rd and 11, I believe.
Yeah, so we definitely capitalized on third down, and that's what it keeps the chains moving. It puts points on the board. But I think Andy Reid's game plan today was a step in the right direction. We saw a lot better run calls than we have in the previous couple of weeks. And I think that just contributed to more third and shorts, which are way more manageable.
Hey, some of those runs too, our running backs are still missing wide open holes.
Yeah.
Like I seen 2 or 3 where we could have been running for yards and yards. And for some reason, our running backs are running right into the meat of it rather than hitting the open hole. Hopefully they get used to that. And I think a lot of it is because they don't settle into a rhythm.
I expect that from Isaiah Pacheco. He's a rookie. He's going to take some lumps. He's going to learn a little bit here and there. Clyde, there's no excuse, buddy. When there's a hole the size of a Mack truck, you got to hit it. You've been here long enough.
Yeah, I totally agree. So let's move on to number 5. So far, the Chiefs have checked 4 out of 4 check marks on our top 5 keys. Let's see if they check number 5. That was don't squander opportunities. And it looks like they're going to a big fat check mark on that one because besides the Butker missed field goal, which Butker seems to be missing a lot of field goals in makeable ranges. He's got to get it together. I'm going to say it's his ankle a little bit, maybe. I'm just going to give him some excuse. But other than that, we went 4 for 5, 80% in red zone opportunities. Should have been 5 for 5. So
that's what I was getting ready to say.
Right. So 100% red zone, you're going to get blowout scores. This is usually why we don't get blowout games here in Kansas City with our dominant teams.
It's not even should have been 5 for 5 because Harrison Butker missed the field goal, which he's got to work on those field goals, man. He misses those mid range a lot. But I mean, that was a touchdown. We scored a touchdown on that drive, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that was the one they called that bogus block on Jerick McKinnon, and he was outside the tackle box by 2 yards. The NFL officials cannot miss that call.
I don't know if that was the same drive or not, but either way,
No, I think that was the missed field goal drive.
man.
That was right
Either
before the
way,
half.
what is the deal with the NFL refusing to let the Chiefs score a touchdown this year? Like
Dude,
we've had a handful called back over bogus calls,
over
and
the
it's like it's
the
not even
past-
questionable stuff.
yeah, the
It's like,
past 2 games, I think we've been in the end zone 4 times and got a flag pulled out in 4 games.
yeah, I mean, like the
Or-
Creed one, you can argue because technically he was like a yard past where he's supposed to be, but I mean the rest of them's just blatant crap. Like the one today, McKinnon clearly made a legal block there on Bosa. It wasn't a big deal at all. Don't even know why a flag was thrown. Then I don't know why in the world they didn't call it, like pick it up. Like they discussed it and still called it. It's just insane, man. These guys have got to do better. NFL, you got to do better. People, you're starting to lose credibility. That's
Hey,
all I've got to say.
listening to the guys in the booth try to defend the NFL on that call, like the ex official couldn't even do it. He's like, I have no idea. Like people can't defend this anymore. It's making it look like the only logical reason is you're trying to keep games close. That's what it looks
Yeah,
like.
it really
And of
is.
course, I don't know how you kept it any closer than 44-23. I guess we'd have been up like 50-20 or something. I don't know. But yeah, so it looks like we checked off all 5 boxes, and that's why we got a dominant blowout at San Francisco. Because why? All Chiefed Up knows what we're talking about. Just listen to us. We try to tell you.
All right, let's give away some game balls. I want to give away 2 on offense because I couldn't decide on one.
Will you give away one? I'll give away the other because I know we're picking the same 2 people.
All right. Well, if I know that you're probably going to take Mecole, so I'm going to go ahead and give my game ball to Juju Smith-Schuster. Another fantastic game by him. I love seeing him get in a groove. Mahomes is finally starting to realize that he's a very reliable third down target. He's a very reliable receiver that can get you yards after the catch, and he's going to catch the ball. So I just like to see that chemistry growing there, and I think it's only going to get better from here.
Yep, my 2 game balls were Miko and Juju. I thought Juju looked good. Since we already knew that was coming, I'm going to give out a 3rd game ball. I'm going to say MVS gets one. He went over 100 yards today. Mahomes didn't look his way a lot, but when he did, he made the plays. That long pass there he caught, that's one of those in Green Bay that sometimes he'd butterfinger it a little bit. So I'm just happy he caught the ball. He brought it in and he moved the chains for us. I would say on defense, I'd have to give a game ball to let's give one to Frank Clark today since he showed up. How about that?
Yeah, that's where I was going with it. If I had to give away another game ball, I would give it to the quiet guy that held the glue together the whole time. That'd be Nick Bolton because that's the only guy we haven't talked about, and he had a very solid game, very low key. But man, you can't. Everyone talking about Nick Bolton and giving him crap, and oh, he took a step back this year, and blah blah blah. I don't understand what in the world these people are watching because I think they said that he's actually like the 5th leading tackler in the NFL right now. I mean, this dude's all over the field making plays and looking great.
It's
So yeah.
it's just something they can say and draw up a little bit of talk
Right. And then back on the Marquez Valdez Scantling stuff, we had been talking about how we want to see him running more go routes, running more deep routes that we haven't seen him. He has the speed. He has the speed to do it. Mahomes has the arms. I don't know why we haven't done it yet. It was good to finally see that. And it was funny to watch him absolutely torch Tarvarius Ward there. Sorry, Mooney, but you got toasted, bro. If Mahomes would have thrown that ball a little further, that was a tutty.
Yeah, so I said Kelsey would be player of the game. I said it was going to be 33-24 Chiefs. I was a little conservative on that score. We actually won by 21. I had us winning by 9. I said Kelsey was going to have 115 and 2 touchdowns. He didn't quite get there. I believe if that first one wouldn't have been taken off the board, it wouldn't have killed his rhythm, and he would have probably got there. Like, let's be honest.
And my prediction, I was super close. I said 42-20 Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes having 4 touchdown passes. It was actually 44-23. And Mahomes had 3 touchdown passes. Should have been 4, but we got that terrible, terrible call on McKinnon. So, I mean, I think I was pretty close. I pat myself on the back for that one.
Get out of here.
How about those Chiefs, baby? Big win in San Francisco. Puts us going into the bye week at 5-2. And a lot of the AFC West went down today. The only ones that didn't was the Raiders, and they're irrelevant at the moment. But either way, we'll be back later this week with a special guest. We'll also be breaking down some plays for you. Thanks for liking, subscribing, and hitting that bell. And speaking of plays that we broke down, make sure to check this video out now, and you can see a couple from the Bills game. We'll see you next time.
See ya. Go Chiefs.
There goes a sight from my soul.